Hear ye, and welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll, and tonight I am joined by my very good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy, and we also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Boys, we've got a little scenery change here.
Yeah, we're mixing it up.
You would say we maybe transformed locations.
We have transformed locations,
for you,
Amato.
Sweat. Yep.
Yes, Sweat, that was for you. Here we are. We are actually, we're here to review the Transformers movie. What's it called
Yes.
again? Rise of the Beast.
Yes.
Yes, good job.
Transformers
Yeah.
Rise of the Beast. This is like the 7th movie. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I think you're close. I think it
Yeah.
is actually. Yeah.
It'll be a
Yeah.
fun review. We're excited for you guys to
Yeah,
be here.
I think so. Either 7 or 8.
Yeah. Big shout out to everyone tuning in. We appreciate you. Want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button wherever you are listening and to also follow us on social media at Royal Geek Pod, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us. And, boys, we're here to review it. You guys are probably going to know a lot more of this
Yeah,
lore and stuff than me.
I have enjoyed Transformers since I saw that first animated movie back in the day. Obviously, I didn't watch it when it first came out because it was I think 84 or something like that when it came out.
When they went hard and
Yeah,
Optimus died.
yeah.
Is that the one you
That
referred
was
to?
the one. Yeah, that was the one. Exactly. I've been a Transformers fan for a while
Yeah.
now. So
I remember I remember telling you this. I remember the first one was amazing.
yeah.
In 2007.
Seven.
Yeah.
Really good. And I remember watching others and thought, they're okay. But the first one was awesome. And I just, I haven't watched. I'm just going to keep it real with all of our listeners. I haven't watched any of these movies. The most recent Bumblebee movie, haven't watched it. So I was coming into this kind of blind. I was like, I was just excited to hang out with you guys on a Thursday night and watch a premiere movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I think that might be a good perspective to have coming in here, man. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe so.
looking forward to see what you say.
Maybe so. All right. So, how about this? Spoiler warning.
Yeah,
this
there you
is
go.
This is the spoiler warning. Okay. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I guess you guys kick it off. How did you guys, enjoy this movie?
I'd say, it was better than I was expecting it to be, truthfully.
I second that.
So, third.
I feel like there were definitely moments in it where it got a little too cheesy and they kind of lingered on moments that they probably shouldn't have. There were little story holes here and there in it for sure. But I feel like visually it was pretty awesome. I had very little issues with any of the CGI type stuff, so I felt like it did pretty well on that front. And I feel like overall it was a relatively fun ride as we were going along. The people, the humans were likable, and I felt like it did a relatively good job of kind of giving you a storyline set up with Optimus and stuff like that kind of leading into what might be happening later in the universe that they're setting up.
Yeah, I agree. I think you nailed it on the head there. I think visually it was really good, actually.
Yeah.
And one of the scenes that sticks out to me with the fact that they were on point with their visual effects was fairly soon in the movie when Noah is riding in the Porsche with in Mirage, and he's going in reverse, and then he transforms to go forward, and on the inside Anthony Ramos' character is kind of just spinning and does a
that was cool.
360.
That was cool.
And or 180, I guess. And then the Transformers is going straight again. It was cool just watching the transform all around the seat and everything.
Yeah, that was, and it was just even that scene, that was just it was a cool, fresh take on what a Transformer actually does.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. We're 7, 8 movies in, and they're coming up with a new way to kind of show something happening. And I love the other versions of himself in that the
Mirage
in the actual Mirage, which is it was kind of funny because that's, you think about it, okay, so that's Mirage showing what he thinks of the character, he thinks of him as, because it's not actually his mind, it's what Mirage thinks of him. So that was pretty cool that you get to see this way of showing what he thinks of the character.
Yeah.
I agree. Visually, it was good. I feel like there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to either be, laughing at with y'all or just saying it was dumb, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
But overall, I've seen a lot worse movies. I'm just going to keep it real. I've seen a lot worse.
That's a fact, actually. That's
Yeah. So, overall, I'm probably never going to watch it again, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And I would say if you haven't seen it, it's worth going to watch.
Yeah.
it was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
It was definitely entertaining. It's kind of like I kind of see it as like if you were to buy a house, it's kind of a little bit run down, and you're like, it has good bones. It doesn't necessarily, it's not fully like polished, but it has good bones and it has a good structure for potential, as a jumping off point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the moves that they made in this movie that I was on board with, which some of the fan base might come after me after I say this, but the choice they made to give Bumblebee a backseat and let Mirage kind of take over as that fun, desired Transformer that everybody wants to kind of to get to know and be with.
Yeah.
It's funny. At first, I thought you meant literally. I was thinking, like, did he actually have a backseat?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, I see what
But
you're
yeah,
saying now.
I mean, he was dead for a majority of the movie.
Yeah.
And Mirage, honestly, he stole like every scene. Like Pete Davidson stole a lot of scenes, and he had probably one of the biggest laugh out loud moments in the movie with
Justin. No. In the movie,
Yeah.
try like any movie I've seen in a long time.
it was pretty great too. Man.
It was awesome.
It was a wild line that paid off so
Yes.
good.
Yeah, like he's getting all self-conscious because Noah describes him as a work friend
Yes.
to his brother.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
And so they're like, work friend, and they keep going back and forth. And he's like, bro, you were inside me.
Yes. That was good.
And there was at most 20 people in our theater at most,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the laughter for that joke lasted, probably a minute.
It was
solid.
I
It was
missed
solid.
so many lines after that
Yeah.
because we were just rolling, man, and everyone in front of us, behind us, was laughing.
Dude, the dude in front of us really got a kick out of that.
Yes,
one. He
yes.
was, yeah.
He
I
was-
mean, I
yeah,
just
he was
didn't see
rolling.
it coming at all. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so good.
No, it was so unexpected too. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's Pete Davidson. Like that's
Yeah.
that's he says some like the craziest things at times when you don't expect it to be
Yeah.
a punchline, like that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So that was enjoyable to see Mirage kind of step
Yeah.
up and take that.
I'll
over.
agree with you, especially because if like Bumblebee, the movie Bumblebee was supposed to reset the universe, like you kind of got really inundated with him as a character in that movie.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing that they're trying to build the universe a little bit because really, to tell you the truth, in the original like Michael Bay movies, really you only ever got to see Bumblebee and Optimus.
Yeah.
There were other Transformers, but they were all just surface characters. Like you never really got to see anything past that, And it was very much, these people are here, but that's it.
That's it. They look cool. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
here to
they
look
look cool.
Which there was a little of that happening in this movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't
What-
as like noticeable. Like,
Maybe speaking of looking cool, or at least trying to look cool. All right, I just cannot get this image out of my mind. So, Noah's brother is actually wearing a Power Rangers shirt.
Yes.
Yeah,
in
man.
like the beginning scene, right? And I felt like anytime one of the side character Transformers, kind of like Bumblebee, and the pink one that was a motorcycle,
Yeah.
RC. Yeah.
RC. Anytime they show up for a battle scene, they're flipping into it unnecessarily, just like a Power Ranger. I feel like it was so intense.
Yeah.
RC came in like doing cartwheels.
Came in
Dude,
hot,
and
yeah.
not like once, not twice,
Yeah.
like repeatedly.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And I felt like it was like intentional, and I thought it was hilarious.
I feel like it was their way to like kind of flex their CGI muscles.
yeah, seriously.
Because they could have done like they come in, they stop as a car and then they transform. But this was like, I think it was their way of showing you how far they've come with their CGI and trying to show it off. Like the one scene that we've seen in the trailers where like he shows up and like you just see you see Noah's character come out and he just like it's like it was almost like the scene where you see somebody walk slow motion away from an explosion, like that kind of like feel of cool
yeah.
as Mirage is
exactly.
like transforming in the background.
doing crazy, breakdancing kind of, right? Like
Mirage,
yeah.
yeah. Like he's kind of doing that, and like Noah's just like just
cool.
cool as a cucumber. But I feel like that's what was just kind of happening is they were just kind of like trying to flex that muscle and show what they can do with this. And it looked really good. Like, even it may have been a little bit unnecessary, but it looked good in the sense of like, pushing the limits of what a Transformer can actually do. When you're thinking about it.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think the biggest thing that a Transformer movie, what it comes down to, is like the humans, right? Like what impact do the humans have that's gonna like carry this movie? So in 2007, Shia LaBeouf kind of was like on the scene, right?
Yeah.
Like he was the it guy at that time, and he kind of broke out, right? And along with Megan Fox, of course, like we all know, like what her impact was in that movie, but he like Shia LaBeouf had that power, that staying power, and that kind of led that 2007 movie. But that obviously wore off as the Transformer movies went on, right?
Yeah.
But this movie, I think Anthony Ramos did a phenomenal job in this movie, like better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
He actually does have some good acting chops. And obviously,
without a doubt, better. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Way
I felt like he was super solid. I will say, I hope from now on they kind of push his brother to like the back seat. I felt like that was
please
unnecessary.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary plot. It was.
It needed to give him stakes, I
Yes,
guess.
yeah. Like, I understand the stakes set up and everything like that, and it was
the
kind
fearless little brother.
Yes, the fierce.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for them to be the type of. I'm not a huge fan of super powerful characters being deferential to little brats.
Yeah.
Like when they do, like, and it happens in a ton of these movies where it's like, oh, that kid's got spunk type of situation.
Yes.
Where like it's like Mirage literally just could have just destroyed this little boy with sickle cell, and and like, but he's like deferential, like puffing up his chest. It's sort of like what happens with Omega in Bad Batch, to tell you the truth, where like there's these moments where these enormously powerful characters like are deferential to small children.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah. That's probably my biggest problem with Transformers movies. You were actually just talking about like what role will the humans play, and sometimes it's so frustrating to me where it's like, get out of here, bro.
Oh, talk about the line or the scene that you're like, that makes no sense.
Oh yes, so we're skipping forward a little bit, but when they're in Peru and Optimus Primal, that was great. Optimus Primal takes them to their like camp. I said this to Justin last night in the car.
So funny.
They first of all, they have the other half of the key hiding in plain sight. Bold strategy, Cotton, but they do it nonetheless. And then like Scourge and all the enemies are showing up, and then Primal's like, Noah, take the key, keep it safe. Like anytime a Transformer does that, and like they give something really important to the human.
Yeah.
Especially in an open battlefield. I'm always like, are you a freaking idiot?
Yeah. It made no sense at all.
It just never makes sense.
Like the final fight scene where they were like, oh, it's just big enough for a human to get to.
There was a lot of
a lot of convenient.
Yes, and even on Alice Island, they did the same type of thing where it's like, oh, protect the humans, take this, get away. And it's like, so you're saying the slowest moving characters
are the ones that
need to get away. Got it.
Yes, exactly. That's always been my problem with these kind of movies.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like, and I understand nothing about this is realistic, obviously.
Of course.
But there's some things where it's like, come on, just give me like something a little bit more like realistic than that.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel like, okay, Anthony Ramos, he did a good job as acting wise, right? Like he really held it, right? But like, what?
Real quick, especially in all the opening drama that he had to deal with being like his backstory.
His backstory.
It's phenomenal.
He sold all that. Yeah.
Sold it so well.
But,
and I cared. I cared way more about him than Shia LaBeouf being like a moody little teenager.
Yes. Good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Go on.
But I was gonna say, with all the great acting chops, like it just wasn't believable that he was gonna protect this key that you were talking about.
No.
Like, like I don't know. I didn't see that until later
they turned
on.
him into Iron Man.
Yeah, until they turned him into Iron Man at the end, which, believe it or not, I actually like that way more than I should have. Like,
really?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. It's just, well, first, Mirage gives him a little handpiece that's pretty cool. I thought, like, he
Yeah.
said, hey, catch, and he catches it.
And I also thought of Iron Man when he did that.
Yeah.
Even 40 minutes earlier in the movie when that happened.
Right.
Although I will say I was slightly annoyed by the whole fact that he kept on taking it off and putting it back on when he was in so much danger
Just
this whole
leave it on.
time.
Yeah,
I thought
just
that too.
leave it
Leave it
on.
on.
Just
Yeah.
leave it on.
When he pulled it out of his backpack, I was like, what is it doing in there? What are you
Yeah.
doing? What are you trying to keep it safe
Yeah,
for?
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It would have been literally like having not wearing your bulletproof vest when you're like going and
Yeah.
you know you're going to danger every single time.
Every time.
Like, two things in the movie, like, shocked me that I didn't expect to be in a Transformers movie, and it was Noah's character getting, like, the Iron Man looking suit, like Mirage's body parts. Like, it was kind of cool when Mirage was like, yeah, I'm not in this fight anymore, but you got to take the driver's seat or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like,
what happened to all the extra parts? Because, like, like, Mirage is really big.
Well, as you can see at the mid-credit scene, the only core parts that he had were the ones on the suit, and then he had to go and get extra parts from other cars.
Yeah, I guess
That's why
so.
that Porsche is all, like, scrapped together.
Destroyed,
Yeah.
He
But
remind me of like Mega Man.
I mean, he was bulky. I mean,
Yeah,
it was 90s. It was 90s. Like,
Yeah.
you could look at that and you can tell, like, this is like a
I
Power
wasn't
Ranger
necessarily
suit.
saying
Yeah.
that it was a bad thing. I was just
Yeah.
like, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
But that took me off guard, and then the reveal at the end also, like,
oh yeah, that
I don't know,
was.
we're
Okay,
gonna
all
dive
right.
into that.
They were like
not
left field. Here we are.
Let's talk about some of the Transformers characters first, and then
Sure.
we'll
We'll
dive
get
into
there.
the ending.
The ending, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get there.
So, like, some of the voice talent here. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out a few of these. Okay, so Scourge, Peter Dinklage. Like, how I mean, it was great to see that.
Yeah.
I wish they would have toned down the robotics a little bit more and let Peter Dinklage
Just be himself.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he does have a deep voice. Like, he has a really strong,
Yeah.
like, very strong voice. And then they did too much of, like, the synthesizer on there and made it too robotic. But I still enjoyed his, like, menacing nature. It was good. So Scourge, that was another
They
one.
made the robot too robotic?
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah, Scourge. Why was he's so strong again? They said he got power from
Dark energy
dark
from
energy.
Yes.
Unicron.
Yes,
Okay.
Unicron basically gave him like extra power, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which was their way of saying, of like basically saying why he was so attached to Unicron, why he was being his henchman.
How cool is it that his thing was when he killed a Transformer, he put the imprint
Yeah.
on there on his
that
arm.
was baller.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's a baller
Gosh.
move.
Another
Yeah.
one for the collection. I was
Yes.
like, that is so sick, man. I love
That
that.
is
Brutal.
Yeah,
that
I know. I
was-
love it, man.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so Air Razor was Michelle Yeoh. Like, I mean, this is
Yes.
Michelle Yeoh is phenomenal. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once was massive
Yep.
last year, and here she is voicing like a Maximal, which was
Yep.
great to see. And then we got our boy Danny Rojas,
Rojas.
Cristo Fernandez as Wheeljack. Didn't get enough screen time.
Not enough.
Not
He
enough.
got a solid like intro scene to him, and then you don't even hear him the rest of
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah. You hear him like one more line.
And I don't even remember seeing him fight that much, to be honest.
They were on him a few times. They did.
Yeah.
He was getting his butt kicked most of the time.
Yeah.
But he lived. He survived.
Oh, another funny moment too.
Which one was that?
When he meets Noah. Noah's like excited to hear
the accent. Yeah.
Hispanic accent. And he's like, and Wheeljack's like, man, that's racist, man.
Yeah, and then they walk for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, how is that racist?
Is that racist? You're not even.
Yeah, you're a robot.
You're a robot.
yeah.
It was so good.
It was a good throwaway line. I like
Yeah, it
that.
was
Yeah.
good.
Like there were these little gems
Yeah.
in this movie that kind of like stood
Yeah.
out. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Gosh, and then who else we had? Unicron. Oh shoot, I forgot his name now. I put it on my phone, but it was Domingo. I think his name is Domingo. He was in Fear of the Walking Dead. He was the sultry voice guy. But he did a really good job as Unicron. Like very otherworldly, I should say.
So, Unicron.
Yes.
He is just a big, bulky, like a massive
Planet
transformer.
size. Yeah.
Planet-sized transformer that eats other planets.
Yeah. He's Galactus. Yeah, that's what
He's
he is.
Galactus. It was interesting how they even showed when he was eating that planet in at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where he had like two little prongs come out and like grab it.
Yeah. Hold the steel, grind it up, and then suck in the
Yeah,
rubble.
it was interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's just always so hard for me to wrap my mind around planet-eating villains.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, it's a little out there. And it's like, how do you win? How do you beat
Okay.
it? Which essentially, they didn't beat Unicron. They
Yeah,
just slowed him down. Like,
they kept him in exile
yeah,
because he
which
can't just like fast
Yeah.
travel without that transponder key.
the key, yeah,
whatever it's
exactly.
called.
I think you were right with that one.
Transwarping
But
key. So, but here's okay. Here's a big question. Again, this is like me not understanding things. So they get the second half of the key.
Mhm.
They put it together. Scourge does. And then in Peru, basically this massive mountain-sized, I'm going to call it a ship, a structure,
yeah,
manifests out of nowhere. And I don't understand the physics behind it. Was that always on Earth and they just activated it? Was that their ship, but it was in plain hiding the whole time?
This goes along the lines of what Shimada was saying earlier with some plot hole thing like that. We're all in the same boat as an audience. It's like, where did that come from? They didn't explain it.
Nothing.
I feel like there may have been a throwaway line of like maybe when Alina was doing her research of like some sort of something was here thousands of years ago and nobody knew what it was, that kind of thing. But I think it's one of those weak points in the storyline.
Yeah, and then there's apparently a computer panel on it with access code.
Yeah, access code, which luckily we had Alina to decipher that.
Otherwise, nothing would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
She
otherwise
just
Earth's
happened to
done.
write down the
Symbols.
right symbol.
A lot of
before
convenience.
before it crumbled.
I didn't mind her character. I really
Yeah,
didn't.
she
I
was fine.
I thought she was a
Yeah.
good character.
Yeah. Me either. But-
Yeah, I mean, I do think she lacked a little motivation. Like they kind of pushed her
I think they
motivation
pushed
a
the dad
little
thing
bit.
a little too much. I think.
Yeah, like I do think there was a little bit too much there, but
she did good with the scenes she had. Though.
yeah,
like she did really good.
Like
with
her
it.
character in general, like she was a decent character and everything like that. You know, the whole like rough upbringing, but kind of.
I'm pretty sure she's going to be an Ironheart. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure
Cool.
she's going to be one of her
Yeah.
friends.
But maybe not like rough upbringing, but she was a poor upbringing. Pulled herself up by the bootstraps type of idea. I was just thinking that her motivation of going where she was going kind of like was a little lacking, and I feel like they kind of pushed stuff a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, your motivation in general is probably not having your planet destroyed, but
Save the world.
like that type of thing. But there is always that kind of thing that you need a little more motivation than that, because it's a very abstract idea.
Yeah.
Because like if you're someone coming from a world of, you're not in that like I save the world every day type of thing.
Well, it made sense
you
for
need,
Noah to
like,
join
an
because he was a
extra-
soldier.
Noah made a ton.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, that makes.
It's an easier sway.
Yes, like he made a lot more sense than Shia LaBeouf being the hero. To tell you
Yeah.
the truth, like his character,
Right.
like just from a background story point of view, it's like, oh, he is former military. He's not only former military, but they made it a pretty big thing. That wasn't just that it wasn't like he was just like a scrub soldier. He was a decent soldier. He just
With
had
some serious
his
skills.
with a decent background. They mentioned that he was brave and that he was like honorable. It just basically seemed like he was, distracted. His mind was not here, and they made it very clear why, because
His brother's dying.
Yeah.
because his
Yeah.
brother is suffering, literally, and they just don't have the money for that kind of. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like it's like that made a lot of sense for his character to be that way. But for her character was a little bit like, it was like her motivation for going on this whirlwind adventure was a little bit lacking in my mind.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. Well, Mato, what are your thoughts on the big ship manifesting out of nowhere?
I feel like that was kind of like an extension of the connection that he has with Unicron. Because you remember when he meets Unicron in like the garage after you get the first part, and Unicron,
When he gets like rebuked by Unicron.
Yes. I feel like it was, and they had like it was like a connection world type of thing. I feel like it was something similar to that. In like,
Yeah.
I thought it was more like a in his head thing, kind of like when Loki was talking to Thanos, that kind of thing. I thought it was more like that, but I guess not.
I mean, it could be that way, but then, like, I mean, I was just trying to make some sort of a connection to why it makes sense for this thing to exist.
Well, it's physically there. Scourge, so it's not in his head. Scourge dies.
Right.
And it's still there. But at the end, when Optimus destroys it, I also don't get the physics of, like, everything is getting warped back into like a portal itself.
Like absorbed, sucked in, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
like I almost thought like, oh, Unicron's gonna die because the portal's gonna shut when he's halfway through it. That's what I was kind of thinking.
But instead,
it almost looked like
it out.
it
Or
almost
kicked him
looked
out.
like things went like in reverse, like back in time. Again, it just felt like unclear.
Yeah. One thing I will say that was a little bit lacking in my mind is I understand that there's literally like the highest stakes of your planet being destroyed, but at the end of the day, stakes were kind of like the sum of everything that happened was kind of didn't feel that great because you didn't really, I mean, not a single Transformer died, not a single human died.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't.
Air Razor died.
Razor, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the ending didn't really have that feel to it
Yeah.
because I feel like they were trying to like make it seem like Optimus was going to something was going to happen with Optimus or something was going to happen with Optimus Primal. I feel like they were really setting up and kind of missed something where Optimus Primal's talking about, oh, this isn't the Optimus Prime that I've heard about.
Yeah.
And what I was kind of hoping would happen is kind of in a way that Optimus Primal was inspired by Optimus Prime, Optimus Primal would die, and that would kind of be like the final stroke of getting Optimus Prime to where we know him as, because he had like a large part of what was happening, especially in the second half, was about Optimus Prime. You're noticing he isn't the Optimus Prime from the timeline that we know from Shia LaBeouf and everything like that we've seen with that. He's more Transformer. He's more Autobot centered.
Yeah.
You know, to where he's all about saving his universe. And you know, they get into that about how it really shouldn't be yours and yours, it should be ours type of idea. So I was kind of thinking, and I was actually kind of enjoying that storyline where they were like, you were seeing him learn and kind of become more of working himself more towards the Prime that we know, especially because this is a prequel. So it makes all the sense in the world, or maybe not necessarily a prequel. It's more of is it a prequel? Is it a rewrite? Who
knows?
Whatever it is. Yeah. But it would make a lot of sense if like you're showing the growth
Progression,
that led to the way that he acts in more the Michael Bay 2007 version.
Yeah.
So I felt like that would have been an interesting way to make that character like if like Optimus Primal gave himself up the way that, you know, I forgot the name of the Autobot, or not the Autobot, the Maximal on their homeworld gave himself up, and kind of Optimus Prime sees that and becomes the very example that Primal wanted or learned from in the first place.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that. I would have loved to seen that too, actually, with Primal taking the heat on that one,
Yeah.
and then Optimus learning from that.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, that's why we have a writer on staff over here for a World Geek Pod.
Right.
So,
but instead we got like a Marvel style movie where no one dies.
yeah, there you go.
All right, let's talk about this ending.
Yeah,
or even worse, people die, but then they're all brought back.
Like Bumblebee.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Nice.
All right. So this ending. So
the biggest left field. Out of left field.
This is great. This is
ever.
amazing. So we're sitting there. Noah's got an interview. He's in some like. Do we recognize that guy? Do you guys recognize the guy he was interviewing with?
I mean, I know the actor, but
but I mean, like in universe, is he something that?
No, not really. No.
Okay, so this is all. New.
Yeah, I couldn't remember whether he was ever in the Transformer universe at all.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because I don't know. Like, I feel like that's really weird. Then, like, because the character that he was playing was very much like
established.
Yes, like he was working like an established character. Like he had done this like 1,000 times before. You know, like that type of thing.
I don't remember him. Yeah.
Okay, so he's interviewing Noah. He mentions he name drops Peru, and Noah's like, I didn't say I was in Peru. He's like, well, I know you were, and he knows about him and all the big friends, and he's like, so Noah's like guarding it really well, And then he says that they're going to take care of his brother, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
yeah.
Noah, earns Noah's trust. And he slides him a card, and I was like, I don't know, CIA.
Well, yeah, when
FBI.
when the card slid over, in my mind, I'm racing. Was like, oh, what was the name of Josh Duhamel's army organization?
Yeah,
like,
whatever
That's
that
what,
was.
that's what I was getting at because they were going to get
Exactly.
to that point, right?
And he flips it over, and in the most I told you guys this last night. Like, if the movie was muted, like if there was no sound, if someone upstairs accidentally hit the mute button, and he flips over the card. Noah says it in the exact way that I would have said it. He looks at the card and he says, G.I. Joe.
To tell you the truth, what it kind of hit me as is like
man.
if you've ever seen someone like edit something like into like a movie scene and they'll like
Yeah.
make a joke with it.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what
Yeah.
it looked like. Like it would say something else.
Yeah.
But then it was
Like a meme on Instagram
yes.
or something.
Yeah, like and then it
Like a
flips
reel.
over and it's like fake. It's a fake logo
Yes,
or something
exactly.
from another thing that they're trying to make it seem like.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it was G.I. Joe. It literally said G.I. Joe in it, and I was taken back. Like it was like it.
You
it
guys were
literally,
laughing
it
for,
put,
like-
it took me out of the moment. Like, I
Yeah.
was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we were. I think we were laughing.
Yes.
We were enjoying our reaction to.
Oh, I was loving
Serena
watching
Jones.
y'all.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know if I liked that thing or if I was like, if it was too out there. Like, but I know for a fact that there's a comic book series that's Transformers and G.I. Joe. Like, I know that that's a thing. But in my mind, I'm trying to play like, how the heck does Cobra Commander come into play against Optimus Prime? Like that just it
Yeah.
didn't compute in my mind. Like,
Or also, when you're really thinking about it, if you take any of the movies where like there's been like a GI Joe character, does Anthony Ramos look like he'd be one of those GI Joe dudes?
yeah,
Like, does he look like Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
no.
Does he look
Yeah.
like Channing Tatum?
No. But he does look like a liaison between the Transformers and the G.I. Joes, though. That's what he does look like. He's like that agent that is the handler of
Yeah.
Transformers, is what that kind of looks like.
Maybe that's what they're recruiting him
And
for.
think about this. The movie took place in 1994, right?
Yeah.
I think you're going to get like the best looking, best geared up G.I. Joes in 1990s because I feel like it's like old school commando. Like you're talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger style, like repping gear. Like I think that'll make for some really good visuals. But I
Yeah.
think the one thing I'm worried about is if this movie Transformers does not perform well and we get this G.I. Joe drop and then they end up canceling a sequel that is a G.I. Joe Transformer movie and we never actually see it come to fruition. That's my biggest worry. Because I'm there
can
for it,
see
man.
it.
I'm there for it. I think
You love big universes.
I like big universes, and I'm not a hater on the G.I. Joe universe. I had G.I. Joes playing when I was a kid. Like, it's gonna be cool to see. Like, there's characters that I want to see. Like Snake Eyes. Yes, they had a movie a couple years ago, 2020 or something like that, and it was underperforming. Yeah, but it had some cool moments. But I don't know. I really wanted to see a G.I. Joe good movie. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it would be awesome if they actually like put some effort into like a GI Joe movie and just like you really get to see something good come out of it. Because I don't feel like there's a whole lot of effort has been a whole lot of effort put into the 3 that I'm thinking of right now. Like with the 2 GI Joes and then Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if there was a whole lot of effort put into any of those movies. Just this is nostalgia type of stuff thing. Like there's just so much you can do. It's like I don't know, like I feel like, for example, like the Barbie movie, I feel like it's going to be there's a horizon for it to be a really legitimately good movie. And I feel like there is a pathway where you can do the same thing with like G.I. Joe.
Well,
You
for example, you mentioned the Barbie movie, which is another like I think Hasbro property,
Yeah.
right? I believe it's Hasbro, I think, but
Either that or Mattel, something like that.
one of the 2 toy companies, right?
Yeah.
But you have the backing of like a Greta Gerwig and a Noah Baumbach, like in that movie,
Yeah.
right? But so if we can get those type of talent, whether in a director, in a producer, in a writer, that kind of thing, into a GI Joe movie, I think you got something good there because the characters in GI Joe are actually very entertaining. They really are. From the old GI Joe cartoons to the GI Joe comic books, like they got some good characters to build on, and so I don't know.
We need to get ourselves Joel McHale. Yes.
Please,
I was just thinking about
please, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great. But yeah, it was a It was a what
Yeah.
kind of moment when he
Yeah.
looked at that card.
G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
So, anyways. Okay. Any other thoughts on Transformers?
It's an
And
entertaining.
you can't say, well, you just can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, it's an entertaining ride. It's an entertaining ride,
Yeah.
and I feel like you need to give it a shot. That's what I feel like. If you got nothing else to do on a Saturday or Friday, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was, a fun enough ride, and it looked cool enough to where it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's not a, masterful movie. It's not like, world breaking.
Yeah.
But I felt like it's a solid, addition.
How about this? 2 weeks in a row, we watched a movie with a caring mother because the voice of Miles Morales' mom was the Anthony Ramos' mom in this movie.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that? I didn't know that.
that's cool.
Yeah. So
Both in New York.
Both in
Yep.
Both in New York.
Multiverse?
Is
Is that Miles Morales?
You might as well. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Marvel.
No,
DC.
I'm saying
Although
it's
I'm pretty
Noah Spider-Man.
Hopefully.
Although I believe Spider-Man is actually from Queens,
Yeah.
and he was
Well,
from Brooklyn.
actually,
It's all the same.
Miles is from Harlem, and
you're right.
Peter is from
Yes.
Queens.
It's all the
Peter,
same,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Amado?
I mean,
Just kidding. All you New York people, it's just a joke. All right. Well, anyways, friends, family, listeners, everyone who is tuned in, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Want to remind you to please hit the subscribe button on your way out. Please follow us on social media at Royal Geek Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us there. Keep up to date on everything we got going on. I don't really know what's next, but I know in like 2 weeks, Secret Invasion comes out.
Well,
so
the Flash is next week.
Well, that's right.
Yes.
And I'm
Which
gone.
You will
for
not
that.
be here. So
yes,
Yes. So Flash is next week. So that's
Conveniently.
going to be
Extraction 2 is also next week.
Extraction 2. There's
But
a
we
lot
won't
happening.
review that next week.
Yeah.
We'll do that 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we will do it.
coming back for the Flash review next week. I won't be here, but definitely come back and join us for that. These guys are going
We
to
just
do it.
lost a lot of listeners next week because they're like, "Oh, T-Roll's not
Just
there."
kidding. I will be there, I think. I am sad to miss it. Going on a little family little trip. So, but anyways, we got a busy summer still. So, with all that in mind, for my good friends Sandy and Shimado, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.